Dun 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 dun. Ho ho ho! Merry Wednesday. Santa Claus is nowhere near this town. That's probably for the best, if we're gonna be honest, because it's time for another weekly, daily Wednesdays. I'm gonna bring you some open source hotness and eliteness mixed with some Linux-loving news from your favorite Linux-loving miscreants.
Yeah.
What's going on? Old Man Vin, Jill Bryant, chilling out, relaxing, talking about Trackmania, among other things, exciting adult party themes of conversation like grocery store locations.
Yeah.
I know. That's right. Look forward to getting old, kids, because you talk about stuff like that. How's everybody doing? It is the middle of the week. We got a packed up show for everybody. We're going to be on it because I'm on package patrol. And if you've been around on the show, have you been watching this for a little while? You know how this goes. This is fate conspiring all the way up until 2 p.m. yesterday. I was going to get a package that I need to sign for. And at 2:05 or 2:03, it's like, it's been delayed. It'll show up on Wednesday. And of course it'll show up on Wednesday, as is tradition.
Yeah.
That's how it rolls. I'm used to it. So there's your fair warning at any point where I just poof. I don't say anything. I just disappear. That's what's going on. What's going on?
Yes,
I got to sign for a thing. It's not even, I mean, it is something fun, but it's not like normal stuff I have to sign for, like when I'm getting gases and stuff. And it's nothing dangerous.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, Steven often has to sign for things that are explosive or dangerous he needs for his work.
IRQ balance on the open WRT router.
Oh, hi, Gamatron. We missed you yesterday.
Let's see, what did you do to open WRT? Like, what do you have that running on? There's so many questions in there. So many questions.
Oh, I see. It just needed a refresh, huh, Arthurian? That happens. I regularly turn mine off like every few months just to let it sit for an hour without any power. Reboot it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
well, here's the reality of it. No matter how like multi-gig internet you have, or you are rarely in a situation, I'm going to say I'm speaking for myself, but I think I'm speaking for a lot of people, where you don't realize you're not getting the full speed because you're never downloading something sizable enough to where the speed would even ramp up to it. You just never think about it, because typically, you know, you have a couple of streams going on. You might like download an AP, you know, an app image or something, you know, just small stuff run, but it's not until you hit like go to download a game or something.
Yeah,
it's
Steam or something.
Like, wait, what's going on?
Why is it slow? Aw. Understand, Gamatron. You're going to love the tracks this week. They're really fun.
All right. We got about 6 minutes before go time.
I will be right back.
And 67. 67 is our magic number. If you're wondering what the correct amount of asynchronous delay for OBS is to match up the Jackbox, in case you ever decide to break in and I don't have the settings correct, that's what this is my theoretical setting anyway. We're going to find out. We're testing it live right now. I got some crazy nonsense going on over here that I'm trying to make work, because what I put into the audio chain has a significant amount of delay to it, because it requires a lot of overhead CPU-wise, right? Now, that's known as latency. Hang on, I just heard a knock. Welcome back. That was it. That was it. How long did we make it? 5 minutes into the live stream. You know what? It's over with. I'm happy about it. Done. I've signed for the package. That's pretty neat. All right, so I was in the middle of explaining latency. Different plugins add different amount of latency if it's something that has to do read ahead, right? Which is, it requires more calculations, has to do more math. So it needs some runway. It takes a minute, CPU to catch up and process all the bits. So it's going to add latency to your chain. So when I'm talking, I'm like, hey, what's going on? It's going to hit that roadblock. It's going to slow it down. And it's still got to make it to this other computer. So you got to figure out what your latency is going to be. I have a lot of latency to work with because I break the audio off of these boxes. So I got about 130 milliseconds to play around with. But if I hit something that is over 130 milliseconds, the audio is going to get to the video on this box early or late, depending if I'm over or undershooting. So if the audio is getting to this box early, it's easy. I just delay it a little bit coming out. Problem is, if the audio is coming after the video gets here, then we got big problems. Because slowing down audio is easy. Audio is lightweight. What I'm doing now, what I'm testing right now, is slowing down the video on this box to match up. Now, we're only talking about 67 milliseconds, so we're going to find out how it works. Hopefully it will. Hopefully it holds up. And did I mention I'm doing this with for a video, so I'm using a Windows audio plugin and Wine on Linux over here right now. How about that? Is that enough variables? Oh. It's going to be interesting. Everyone, we need to save up though. Because we got to buy a 4090. How much were those things? 4090 is 1500. What was it? 1500 bucks. No, it's got dual AV1 encoders. No, here's the thing. I'm also interested in the dual NV encoders. But you know what? I'm going to be a lot more interested in those encoders when they show up on the 4060 or the 4050, right? That's where I get kind of interested. But here's one of the good things about the 40 series, even if you have no plans on ever buying one, is they will have the AV1 encoding. AV1 is in our future. And trust me, you're probably perfectly sane. So you don't follow anything as far as like H.265, HEVC, and AV1 efficiency. That's great. The streams that you watch, especially like high action, it's going to become feasible to, high frame rate, HDR, like the feasibility of doing 1440, 120 FPS streams. It's going to be there this time next year. If that's something that you want to watch or something that you want to broadcast. And, it will be feasible to broadcast 4K 60 streams if you got the horsepower for it. Live listening lock ? Access via phone. Oh, wait. Hey, Joe.
Hello.
So, I went and got my package.
Oh, good. Okay. That worked out good then.
Couldn't have been better timing. As soon as you went around the corner.
As soon as I left. Oh.
Like, welp. You know what? Better now than later.
Okay, true. Now you're not so worried about it.
And it wasn't my normal UPS guy, but I know what you're thinking. Like, don't all UPS people kind of look the same? Like, he kind of looked like my UPS guy. I thought he was at first. I'm like, what are you doing knocking? I'm like, oh, you're not my UPS guy.
Oh, well, I'm glad you got to sign it before we started.
So I have a box filled with, hopefully, the correct thing. I didn't bother looking at it. I just tossed it in the,
Yeah.
whatever that coat hanging area of the house is when you walk in.
Hi, Boo.
Looks like
Hi,
Jay's two
Gecko
cents.
Farm.
Oh, man. You call him like raise 3 pence. Here's the real thing you can think about. Will both Nvidia is a safe bet. Will both Nvidia and AMD have their cards at the store where you can just go buy them up with AV1 encoding before Intel releases the 7 series cards?
Let's hope. Yeah, I think it is a possibility. I'm positive about AMD in October. Just thinking positively that that's going to happen.
Well,
AV1.
if they do AV1, that's one thing. We're talking about, can they get their cards to market before Intel,
Oh, to market. Oh, okay.
already has the cards. They just haven't released
see.
them yet.
Yeah. Oh, I think so.
Will Nvidia and AMD both beat Intel to the market?
Intel.
Which Intel's 3 years late from the announcement, you know?
Yeah. Hi, Don M.
I don't know, Strider. You gotta realize, people,
Matthew.
there are different types of like content creators online, and some people want to create, their content is creating, streaming, doing like that. Not all content creators center around just bitching on the internet in text format. But we all got our own things. Some things require encoders. Keep that in mind. In-home streaming,
Yeah.
DVDs, Blu-ray encoding. Yeah, people are excited about encoders. I mean, okay. People watching this stream are probably a disproportionate sample size, admittedly. Mm-hmm. But,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, that's just, I don't, like rasterization performance, DLSS, fidelity super effects, like that's just like extra things. Like, hey, it can play games too. I'm like, oh, neat. I'll play some video games. Because let's be real, what was one of the biggest, most talked about games of the past couple of months? What was it? Think about it. Let me tell you what
Stray?
it was. No, people forgot that game existed 2 days after it released. Let me tell you what.
Elden Ring before that.
Here's what it was, kids. Vampire Survivors.
Yeah.
A game that you could easily run on an old mobile phone if you wanted to. So,
Yeah.
keep things like that in mind. Oh, yeah, Vampy encoding's hot garbage. It is. I mean, I won't even say, like, fight me on that. I can prove that to you.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to go argue maths? I tried Vampire Survivors when it was like at the peak. I think Mir bought me a copy of it because it was like $2 or something like that. And I played it for like 3 minutes. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm good. Not
Yeah,
really my
it was
thing.
a fun game. I actually played a couple levels of it.
I know Strider got hooked on it, and Pedro got hooked on it, and I think Nubbin. All of them, they put in like crazy. Oh man, it depends. Pico Farm. I was having this debate last night with a buddy of mine because he's very much like he's a corporate cheerleader. You know, he's very much like, my Solus Corporation's better than your soulless corporation. And we were having a discussion about NVIDIA versus AMD. And like, we both know, like, neither of these corporations care about us as the user. Their goal in life is to extract money from us.
Yep.
And that's why you'll never catch me in like a team dynamic of like, who's got the better product? AMD's problem on my side, because the first thing people are going to wind up with, they're like, hey, open source drivers. I'm like, yeah, but the stuff I do requires the closed source drivers from AMD, and they're a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
They don't work. Like, they're bad. The Mesa stuff, the open source driver stuff, that's brilliant. Love it. Using it right now. Both of these, all three of these Intel iGPUs, and plus this 5600G with the, whatever it's got. Out of the box, no problems. These aren't the drivers I get to use for the applications I use. They're not. I got to use the pro drivers, and show me one person that says that's a good experience. I'd love to read about it.
Matthew looked, yeah. I think I played about 10 minutes.
0.1 hours.
Oh, that's because I have it on a couple different accounts, yeah. I've got 3 Steam accounts. I have my main one. I use it mostly 90% of the time, but I also have a Linux Chicks account, and then I have Steven's, and I've got some games on those, and I just try and keep them active. So I have a lot of my older games on my Linux Chicks account.
Yeah, Wayland's going to be great. I mean, for the end user. For, if you're doing, like, gaming right now, or if you're running OBS, like, if you like the feeling of whacking yourself in the shins, go for it. Same with, like, Pipewire right now. I mean, those are all really cool technologies, but, I mean, Pipewire is going to be a critical part of Wayland. They're constantly evolving, which is neat if you like playing that game. If you need something that's just going to work day in and day out. Like, I don't have any interest in Wayland until XFCE is on Wayland, so it's going to be a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the same camp.
Doesn't mean it's not neat. Doesn't mean I don't like it. But, you know, everybody's got different use cases, right?
Yeah. I was joking with the window maker, Dev. He comes to scale every year. I've known him for years. And we were joking about that, too. And he goes, oh, I'll let someone else figure that out. It was funny.
Yeah, XFC does what it needs to do. Pipewire doesn't do what it needs to do because it doesn't have a viable solution yet to NetJack. Also, it's got higher latency than Jack. Again, use cases.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, yeah, I want to play with it. I want to play with it as much as everybody else. We're all in the same boat on that. I think it's neat. But you, ladies and gentlemen, can be the brave soldiers out there fighting the good fight. My days of that are over. Yeah, it has Pulse Audio Jack Sync. What it doesn't have is NetJack support.
Yeah.
Which
problem for Ven.
Do you see this 10-port fiber optic switch back here? that connects to all of the machines in the studio in real time for the audio into the DAW, which is then routed to the OBS streaming PC. Pipewire can't do that yet. So when it can, we have a different conversation. Hello, Funkytron. By the way.
Yay, Funkytron.
I think Wayland's great.
Unicorn. My unicorn cap. I love this one. So cute.
Like Wayland's really moving away from, which I think is good. It's more focused on like the desktop user, where X is a Swiss Army knife. That's why it's big. You can say it's bloated, but you can still do everything with it. Yeah, NetJack's one of those things where it's poorly documented. That's why I made the what the heck is NetJack video to try to explain and document it, like an actual use case that you would use it for. To try to help people out because it's so cool. And then you get into things like Jack Trip, which is effectively allows you to do NetJack over the WAN. Like, we've through iterations and testing, I've successfully done a show. Pedro was a bit far out, but Jordan and I through testing where me and Jordan had a 16-bit wave audio connection in real time, back and forth with each other, lossless.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just to see if it was workable, and it was. I mean, you can do 32-bit floating point if you want. If you get enough bandwidth, it's all about latency. Mm-hmm. Yeah, desktop window manager, I think. I use desktop. I mean, if you want to qualify XFCE as a desktop environment, which I do, it's the bare minimum I would expect to be able to call it a desktop versus a window manager. But I could happily use a window manager. What it is I do not have the time, desire, and or energy at this point in my life these days. I've been through all this to configure a window manager to the point where I'm happy with it and where I have to protect my home folder and that setup with my life because I never would want to recreate it from scratch. XFC works. It gets the job done. Stays on my way.
Yeah. Yeah, Funkytron. So I use all the classic X window managers. I use right now, and I'm Window Maker. Sometimes I use Fluxbox. Sometimes XFCE. Sometimes TWM. I like all the classics, and I just kind of whatever my mood suits me that day. I boot up and into it. That's the beauty of Linux. To me, again, it doesn't matter which version of Linux you're using as long as you have the tools that you need to get things done, or of course the desktop managers or window managers that you want to use, which they're on most of the distros. So
and it's all about a different take. You're going to have a different take from different perspectives. Like if you're just showing up and you're like, hey, I got these options. The thing is like all of these projects, like when you talk about GNOME and you talk about KDE, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when that was when they were first working on that. Like I've been around longer than that has using it. I'm like, yeah, we'll try that out. Hey, it kind of works. I like KDE up until like 3.3.1. I was using KDE. I've never been a GNOME person. Never have. Like nothing against GNOME. I've never disliked it, and especially like on really early Red Hat distros, like when and if you get X up and running, you're like, oh, okay, then that big foot showed up. I'm like, okay, let's get KDE installed.
Yeah, Funkytron. I've used rat poison for broadcasting just to see that I could do it. I set up some scripts so that when I launched it, all the apps I would need would load in the right, part of the monitor, and it worked great. So it's there. It's a little hard, of course, when you want to, not use the mouse, or use the mouse, but I came from a time when we used keyboards and terminals, so it wasn't necessary to use the mouse. Rat poison.
So they've added it looks like Crisp has made it into regular Discord now.
Oh.
Yeah, I just looked at the pre-shows and I'm like, I don't recognize this icon. And sure enough, noise suppression powered. It's been in Canary for about a week.
Yeah. Because I was using Canary and now I'm on regular right now. Huh. Okay.
So yeah, if you're using the monolithic, hyper-bloated, ancient Electron version of the Discord desktop client, you get a new button once you join a voice channel.
Yeah.
I've never used Crisp.
Yeah, me neither.
I typically use RN noise for like any type of real-time And things like that. When I was talking, Joe, you'd get up about real-time noise suppression. Like, if you want to do it really good, you got to add a lot of delay because you got to, like, chew on it. But we got a lot of delay to play with. And there's two camps, you know? Like, you'll get two different opinions when you ask, like, hey, what window manager do you use? From your two primary camps, you got people who use Linux as an operating system, and you got people who use Linux as a hobby. Both are equally valid. One's not better than the other. You'll get two different sets of answers, you know? Hey,
Beko Farm. I still sometimes boot into GNOME and Ubuntu Mate and the classics and KDE. I like them all. I like all the window managers. So Window Maker is my favorite, but I've used them all, so don't matter.
Oh man, I forgot to check the, I wanted to see if I got a reply. Somebody got an internet argument with me yesterday when I was trying to help another person out in the Reaper forums.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't, like, they decided they wanted to chime in with some of their theoretical knowledge. Like, well, I think maybe, you know, like, I think that, like, I'm not thinking here. I own this hardware and I'm trying to help this person out. Why are you interjecting in the conversation? And one of the rebuttals to me was posting a video from a guy who was saying what I was saying because they posted a video that I made as a response to me. And I told him, like, hey, I made that video. And then they went on.
How funny.
Yeah.
How funny.
Like, yeah, I know what the video says. I made it. And then it immediately devolved into, like, how do I know that's really? I'm like, get out of here. We're trying to help this guy.
Oh my gosh.
Go away. You're just one of those, like, things that argue and you just move on to the next argue and then you move on to the next argue. You have no purpose.
That's pretty funny.
You know what? That's not as frustrating as when you're doing like a laser guided search on Google and you get all your search modifiers down and the only search result is a video that you did. And you're like, jeez, man. Well, I guess nobody else knows either.
Yeah.
That's the problem right there. And in my head, I'd be like, oh man, I really laid this. It doesn't even process with that type of person. They just immediately move to the next thing that they're just screeching and reading about. That's all they do. They're rage monkeys, man. That, like, when you gamble, when you get that endorphin hit, like when you win and things like that, that's frighteningly close to the same part of your brain of, like, when you get upset about something, you still get that little, and they're junkies. People don't realize they're little rage junkies and they're just running around trying to find things to get, you know, wound up about.
Wound up, yeah.
Like, why you want to do that to yourself? I don't know. It's an addiction. You need to wean yourself off of it. You need to pull back a little bit. Yeah, YouTube, you know, I've been doing YouTube stuff for over a decade, and this entire time I refuse to play the game where it's like the race to the bottom of the brainstem. You know, I'm not going to do the, like, hey guys, whatever, smash bells, multicolored, like, outline. I can do all this. This is not a problem, but I'm not playing that game. I'm not making infotainment videos. I'm trying to make stuff that's going to help people. Oh man, I don't know. Well, I'm going to get something to drink and
okay then.
Do that.
Yeah, Ven's saying it as it is. Do. He speaks the truth. Aw, what's everyone up to today? Beko Farm and Arthur. I know is it's evening for him, so he's getting to take a break off work, hopefully. And Beko Farm, you're way ahead of me too in time. Oh yeah, Steve Husband is piloting his cubicle. That's for sure. He's been working so many hours. I can't wait till get him off work. It'll be next long weekend where we're taking some time off because it's our anniversary. Just chilling, Arthurian says. Yeah, 67 hours last week. Oh, yes. Poor Boo. Oh, oh, that's funny, Game of Tron. As you read it as Crucible instead of Cubicle. Oh, that's pretty funny. It's got all the letters in it except for the R. Hi, Oil Pope. Winding down. Day soon over. Oh, that's good. Ooh, nice Becca farm. I'm moving this in-house. Ah. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, save money also. In-house, yeah. Yeah, Steve and I were talking about another option, and we're thinking of getting, for emergencies and whatnot, instead of a generator, which we do have, one in the garage, one of the solar generators, like the Jackery ones. And, yeah, keeping that plugged in and fired up occasionally. Yeah, I think our days of going solar are pretty soon, actually. So for us, because it's just me and my husband, the price of it, we couldn't justify it because it's just me and my husband, and we're very good with our energy consumption. We don't use a lot. We're very careful. So it's good if you have a big family. But now that we're older and we're technically now senior citizens, we can get we can get solar, like, if not free, cheap from our the county. So because we turned that age, and so we're thinking of
Steve's going to subscribe to Walker's Weekly. All the latest in Walker technology.
Oh, Game of Tron. 5 days worth of work into 2 days. No wonder why you've been so exhausted.
All right.
Oh, boy. Poor Game of Tron. So, yeah, you're trying to get all your work done so that you could go to the hospital and have be in discomfort.
The pains people suffer for pain. It's an old saying. All right, everyone. I think I got everything together, so we can get underway. I'm going to hit that button. And Jill's going to remind me to remind her.
Yes, I was just about to remind you.
I won. I beat you. I won to remind you to remind me to remind you.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, everyone. Let's get underway and do it. Bring it. We have that. Come on. Okay, hang on. We got to do the tab game. Come on, tab. Go all the way across all the other tabs and don't pop out. Look at that. All right. That needs to be an esport. Dragging a little tiny tab across 30 other tabs without it popping out. Record. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, prepare yourselves. Put your adults in their upright position.
Yes.
Episode 344 will be commencing in 3, 2, clap for me. All right, one more. All right.
Yay.
We'll get that perfectly synced up at the end of this when I can go back and that's for safety. This is going to make the video editing a lot easier in the end, but I'll be able to get that exact time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
3. Calm down, Ribbon microphone. Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the Linux, open source. That hello is one Joe Bryan, all the way from Los Angeles. I'm Old Man Vin, sitting around doing the thing in beautiful downtown Athens, Georgia, joined by everyone watching us live on Twitch. Maybe you're listening to us after the fact. It is brilliant. Now, I was kind of terrified. Fate
Why
always... Well, several reasons. A, the existence of the movie Spice World. This has been a long-standing issue.
Yeah.
Outside of that, fate always conspires. Wednesday, if I order something tomorrow and I select next day air, it'll be here next Wednesday.
Yeah, always.
Usually not during the show, but close enough to where it's a problem, right? Like, maybe.
Yeah.
And this was definitely something that showed up that said, hey, I need a signature. I'm like, jeez, all right, fine. Fortunately, it showed up right in the pre-show. Fate, he didn't quite get me. But it was the thing. Joe gets up. I was like, all right, I'm going to run up for a minute. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'll sit here and dance and up. There it is. Okay. So there was like, a minute and a half of like, bye stream, just hang on.
Yeah, no one's, yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing around with a bunch of stuff. We were talking in the pre-show.
Yeah.
About, I got a ton of videos. I did a lot of recording for them because I have to break stuff down in the studio and redo the lights and set up cameras. I got like boom arms and things with cameras attached to them, which is no small effort to get set up. So I tend to record like all the B-roll footage for 3 or 4 different things. And I'm working on a bunch of things. I'm doing a Firewire audio thing for Linux just because I realized earlier this week that I'd never just laid out, here's exactly how you get everything up and running with Firewire audio, because I know that's becoming more and more of a thing because these Firewire interfaces are just getting incredibly cheap and they're way overpowered. You're like, oh man, I can get this $1,200 interface. How much did you pay for it? $70? Like, oh, what's wrong with it? Oh, it just uses Firewire. But what about the, don't they make the USB version of that? Yeah, how much is that? $1,200? Oh. But it's better, right? And you're like, no, same thing. They just changed the connector to the USB. There's an example of that I will bring up because I happen to have one of those in the rack right now. A couple other things. Using OBS with a jack. That's going to be a thing. I got a fun little video about the blue thing back in the rack, that 1970s Orban de-esser. I'm going to compare that against an open source de-esser, and I'm currently working on, if you follow on Twitch or on YouTube, or even in Discord, better yet, a guide about how to set up control surfaces properly in Linux with Adore and Reaper. So you get both of them. And Reaper is a nightmare to get set up correctly for MIDI CC. I'm not going to go into all the details. Stay tuned. As always, those go out early for patrons as a little thank you. And also, I straight up use our audience as like, did I make any grammatical errors or anything? Let me know in the video before we release it to the public. And everybody's been really good about that. But do you know what I got in, Jill?
What did you get?
Allegedly.
You haven't opened the box yet.
No, I don't. It could be bricks for all I know. It didn't feel like bricks. I didn't shake it. I had a couple of people ask me this over the years. They say, I want something with built-in DSP, digital signal processing, built into the audio interface, right? And a couple of companies have released this, but they don't have anything for Linux. I'm talking like, can I get an EQ? Can I get a compressor? And you can kind of do that with things, but then I have to show people like, we have to do it with Alsa Mixer, and they go, yeah, I want a GUI. I want something I can click on. I want something that looks like a compressor and an EQ. I found an audio interface that has a graphical user interface for the onboard DSP.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to be telling people how to get that set up, and it's very reasonably priced. And here's the shocker, it's USB. It's not some weird Moon PCI card or anything like that.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
It'll be something that you can just plug in, like, because, the story goes, you can make an album with EQ and compression, and that's kind of true. So that's really all you need. Hopefully, we'll find out. Maybe I just get a box of bricks. How about you, Jill? I know Jill got excited. I looked at the notes, and Jill's like, man, they made stickers. And, not really stickers. I was like, yeah, those are stickers. And Jill's like, they're more than Deckers, Vin. I'm
They are. So yeah, I am actually very excited. Yesterday, System 76 announced a new refresh to the whole Thelio series, but this time it's a refresh of the case that can be customized. And now you can customize the front of the case with swappable accent color panels on the right-hand side of the case. And you have your choice of Neptune blue, Martian red, there's a PCB circuit design, there's their classic wood grain, or my favorite, which is far out pink, which matches the color of the shirt I am wearing, our Linux Gamecast one chair shirt you can get in our merch store.
There
and
you
it's
go.
my favorite
Marketing.
color, pink. And I also have a keyboard that I could use with my Thelio when I get it. Yes, I just got this in the mail yesterday.
That's a keyboard?
Yes. So
That
this
looks
is
like a diseased Girl Scout cookie, man. Like
oh.
Thin Mints or something. I don't know.
So yeah, it's a 60% mechanical keyboard with blue switches. It is the Miami color scheme with vibrant pink and turquoise, and it's a tribute to the Miami Vice and the 80s colors. And I've always loved these colors together. They're beautiful. And I won't be using it for my broadcasting rig though, because it is a bit too loud. It uses B switches, which are just too loud for my broadcasting and podcasting. But I'm gonna put it on one of my other hook it up to one of my other computers. But yeah, so this is honestly, I have now over 50 pink keyboards in my collection, and I like to swap them out every month. And it's just something I enjoy doing, and I love the
hoarding.
60%.
Hoarding is like the only disease that people brag about. They're like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is it just like USB?
Yeah, USB-C, and it has it actually has really good RGB on it. It's one of the reasons why I wanted this particular one. So I have a little bit of unicorn vomit.
How many
on my keys.
Windows keys does it have on it?
Just the one, which is nice. So I'm going to be putting, a text penguin over that. Okay. Like I always do. Probably get a pink. I have different color text penguin stickers for buttons. So I got a pink one I'll put right there.
Right on. All right, everyone. We got to talk about it. It was an announcement. Can't pretend it didn't happen. That's right. NVIDIA did a thing. And that's what we're going to start with. I know.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, huge fan of NVIDIA. Take a look back here. Audio listeners, go tune in.
Linus is a huge fan as well.
He is. So you knew this was coming. Here it is, a new generation of hotness from our loving friends at Big Green. Now, we knew this was going to be an announcement for like the high end. They didn't really disappoint with us. You get the 4090s, the 4080s, and the other 4080 that's not really a 4080, but we're calling it a 4080. And we even get a few benchmarks. You get the DLSS 3.0. They showed that off. I'm like, that's cute. Whatever. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Now to the things I'm kind of interested in. They did bring up the new version of NV encode. Like, okay. And we're going to have dual encoders. I'm like, oh,
nice.
Okay. Dual AV1 encoders. Right. Kind of excited about that. And AV1 support is going to be, they even brought up DaVinci Resolve. I'm like, why do you do this to me, NVIDIA? Why?
Yeah, I saw the keynote. Yeah.
Just like, man, like you know how to separate old man Vin from his money. And you know what? We're going to be seeing AV1 support, by this time next year, because I really hope AMD's announcement is on the 3rd of November. And it would make sense that, NVIDIA had time to make sure they had hardware AV1 encoding since, Intel announced, hey, we're doing hardware AV1 encoding. So NVIDIA's like, yeah, we're doing it too. Here it is. It'll be out next month. I'm curious to see what AMD does if they do AV1 encoding, because Intel, eventually when they release the 7 series cards, are going to be doing AV1 encoding too. This is going to change the landscape of live streams, especially for gaming. Things like 1440p, high refresh rate streams will become possible. HDR is going to become possible. It would be feasible to do a 4K 60 stream to some reasonable amount, much lower bandwidth. It's basically everything that you can do with HEVC H.265 currently, but you're not allowed to because of patents, and that's really a big mess. However, I know this is going to come as a huge shock to some people. These things are priced like they were being scalped, man.
Yeah.
They 4090 24 gig, $1,500. Get wrecked, NVIDIA.
I know.
Get absolutely wrecked. And the real 4080, the 16 gig version, $1,199. No.
Yeah.
No.
And yeah, that's several $100s higher than the previous 3000 series.
Right.
So.
Like the 80 series is not even the top of the line. Like it used to be like the Titan, the big, the super, the one that came in its own briefcase would be $1,100, and we would go, "You spent $1,100 on a video card? You mad person? You crazy person?" But to tell me
4090 is going to be interesting.
$1,599? No, that's just too much for my taste. And the 4080, which is not the top of the line, and it's only got 16 gigs, $1,100. Go play in traffic, NVIDIA.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. I'm never going to be separated from that. And what really threw me off is they had a nice little video showing, somebody building the YOLO gaming rig, whatever. That 4090, the Founders Edition, if it's not 4 slots, it's 3.59 at its slimmest. Like, the chonkers barely covers what this thing is. I mean, it is bigger than the 3090. It's insane. Yeah. It's like laughable. Like that thing takes up all of you think of like your regular non-HEDT motherboard, which, you typically have one by 16 and another by 16 at the end. It's going to be a close call if you put it in the first one to your second one with that amount of spacing. That is just crazy. I think it's it's priced like there was a GPU shortage, and they're going to keep the 30 series around, Jill, for a little bit. They're not going to completely, I think, the 3080s or whatever are going to stick around. I just kind of zoned out. I only tuned in for the encoding talk, and again, it makes me sad because I thought by this time, if you had asked me this time last year, like, what would you be talking about? I was like, I'd be talking to everyone about my new Intel 7 series GPU that I'm using. And I'm not, because I can't buy it.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Ven, yes, it's true about the memory. Sometimes NVIDIA does skimp on that. I was hoping that the 4080 would at least have 24 gigabytes like the 3090 did in the 3000 series. So I thought they would up, each one, because you're paying more money. So it makes sense. But I am actually looking forward to playing Portal with RTX on, and it looks like with this card you can do that at a good frame rate. So that'll be cool. But yeah, there's going to be several games that you can play with RTX on the 4000 series cards. And yeah, this was actually this really is an outstanding card. And it even has a unique shape. It's rounded on the sides. It's very strange, which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice to have something different. And there's Portal being played with RTX on, with all those beautiful shadows and ray traced reflections. It's so cool. It looks so cool. Fun.
It's neat. RTX is going to be available as a not RTX, but the Portal RTX build is going to be available as free DLC, like later on, whenever that comes out. But I don't know. You might need a 40 series card to play it. Which again, I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah.
DLSS is neat. It took me a while. It took me all the time until the second Quake. No, Doom. Doom's a new one, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, Doom. That was
the first time I got to see that. On a 20 series, my 2060, I was able to use the DLSS 2 point whatever, and I was able to play at 2160p, 60 FPS on a 2060. I'm like, okay, that's neat, and it looked good. I'm like, you'll sell me on that. The RTX, the ray tracing, and all that. Like, yeah, it kind of looks neat, but I don't want to take the performance hit. And that's another thing they're talking about. They have like some the equivalent of like out of order execution from the 40 series for ray tracing or something like that. That's the best my smooth brain could make out of it. And if you know exactly what it is, feel free to write it in the show. But again, I'm only concerned with like dual NV encoders or dual AV1 encoders. You get my attention. Depends on the price. None of these cards, I don't think most people at home are interested in the top end. They're like, oh, that's neat. I'm sure somebody, you know, maybe in the future, like maybe 5 years from now, you might pick one up. But if you're like me, you're like, well, let's see the 3050, or the 4050 and the 4060.
Yeah. And after you just bought a new 3000 series card, it makes sense. Just wait for the next series after these.
I bought that. I got to put that back in the box. It's a collector's item now. It's an EVGA video card. Now.
Yeah.
It'll be worth nothing in the future because they've made a billion of them.
You got the 3060 12 gig.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. That's it. I don't think the days of, the high end being $500, those days are over because that would require self-control. And people don't have that. No. They don't. Me, I've never lived like once I bought the top of the line card and that was a 980, like 7-8 years ago. And I hated myself for it. I was not happy, and it was like a $580 card. I'm like, ugh. Yeah, just felt bad the entire time doing it.
I'm planning to buy a $750 card. It's the RX 6900 XT, and it had been well over $1,000 as of course a few months ago. But the prices keep dropping, and I'm waiting for it to come down to $700. The one I want, and then I'm going to grab it. Because I want to live that being able to play games in 4K with 16 gigabytes of RAM.
You might have to end up playing the waiting game. Gets tricky, especially like because RDNA 3 during the AMD announcement, they're like, yeah, and it could be, oh, by the way, the card that Jill wants, or it's happened to me with different cards. They're like, we're going to release this other card that's half the price, that's twice as fast.
Yeah, I know. That's always, if you wait too long, then the next series comes out.
But then you have a different choice. You're like, oh, well, how about the original card? How cheap is it going to get now?
Yeah.
Or do I wait for it
is a waiting game. I picked up an RX 6600 XT just to, just to have something in between until I get the big boy.
Right. And again, I'm just sitting back like, I hope AMD has a very nice offering this go around and something that has price, performance. I really hope they bring in AV1 encoding because their VAPI encoding is just a dumpster fire, always has been. You don't want to fight me on this. I will prove I'm right using maths. And, but if they brought something to the table with AV1 encoding, with DaVinci Resolve Resport, but AMD's really got to step up their big, super evil, bad, closed binary professional graphics drivers because those are the ones I need to work with the software I use.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The open source Mesa project, that's brilliant. We were talking about that in the pre-show. Like all of my boxes, except for the OBS rig, are running, this one's running AMD integrated, and this one's running Intel. The Mesa project's awesome. Not the drivers I need for the software I use. And the ones that AMD has releases, their pro drivers on Linux are atrocious. They are bad. They fight you. They will say disparaging remarks about your mother when you're not looking. It's not a good story. And again, I was hoping that Solus Corporation number 3, Jill, would be in the game and I could buy an Intel card and just make everyone upset because I already give AMD a lot of money and I already give NVIDIA a lot of money. I'm like, let me give Intel a couple of bucks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then I could have RGB.
And AV1 encoding.
And AV1 encoding, which is all I really want. And who knows? What I do know is I'm very confused about this next story. I've tried to put it together.
Yeah, I am a bit too. Yeah.
What it is. We're talking about Plasma Big Screen. Hello, Plasma Big Screen, a privacy-respecting, open source, and secure TV ecosystem. Plasma on your TV. Here's the thing. If I understand this correctly, you can use a Raspberry Pi or another ARM-powered device, just like hooked up to your TV. And I went like looking around, like, oh, can I do Netflix and all this other stuff on it? Which I couldn't find an answer to, if it used Widevine for the Netflix or hardware acceleration or anything like that. I couldn't find anything. At first, when I first saw this, I'm like, hey, do they make a like OS that you can load onto your existing TV? Which that would be neat, no, wouldn't it? No, that's not what this is. This is more of a homebrew Apple TV or Roku with a Raspberry Pi or even a Pi phone. There's like images and stuff that you can go and put it in. And, it's based on 2 different distributions. You have your KDE Neon for the Raspberry Pi 4 and Postmarket OS for just basically everything else, that you can dream of. The website, Jill, I feel could use a little bit of clarification because I just went clicking around. Like, what? Help me out. Okay, well, what do you think?
I found more information under the install website when you click that because it talked more about the different OSs. And then as you're reading, you realize, so this is for loading on a Raspberry Pi or a Pine phone or other mobile device. Or a mini computer.
Or a mini computer for, just like your TV. If we go over to install, let's have a look. This is what we get. Installation. Simply download big screen image for the device. Extract it if you have the raw image file. Flash it to your drive using DD.
So that's...
Do you know how much of the... Okay, I know what DD is. Yeah, or a graphic tool. I don't know. I'm not 100%. I would... there's apps, though. There's apps. Yeah, there are apps in there. I found that. And you can do Mycroft voice recognition with like the Mycroft AI.
That is cool. I was really happy that they included that, and I'm hoping that they'll include Mycroft AI in their Plasma Mobile, which Plasma Mobile, by the way, for phone is amazing. So it really makes sense that they're making a big screen version of Plasma. And it does look beautiful. And I know this is an awesome project. And looking forward, actually, to playing with it.
Yeah, they didn't... I was looking through the App Store. Like, most of the apps were apparently only created 2 years ago. They haven't been updated. There was one that was only created 1 year ago. Plasma on the big screen makes sense. But they need something a little more slick than this. They need a little more information on their landing page. Because I can't be the only one who hit... plasma-bigscreen.org and had to go through like 3 different revisions of like, what exactly is this supposed to be? Man, wouldn't it be neat though if somebody just released just a big dumb panel with like a Raspberry CM4 slapped in the back of the thing where you could just load whatever you wanted on it? And
sweet.
Because I don't want a smart TV. I don't think any of us, probably anybody watching wants a smart TV, because what do you get with that? Like apps that are going to be old and slow and outdated and not supported in a year. You're going to get some really bad Wi-Fi. You're going to get like data collection built in, and they're going to serve you ads. You're like, no, I just want a big dumb TV, or at least I'd like. Don't you want to put likes on your TV? I know I do. Maybe in the future, this will be something to do it with, And if you forget about it, you can always take a note.
Yeah, absolutely, Ben. And speaking of notes, I've actually used many note-taking apps over the years on Linux, but now there is one that I will be using a lot more often since it now includes many new features that I need for my workflow. And that app is simply called Notes, and this is version 2.0. And it is a free, open source, and cross-platform note-taking app written in Qt. And it adds so many new features and bug fixes and UI improvements, including the introduction of hierarchical organization using nested folders and tags, which makes organization so much better and is something that I honestly can't live without with any note-taking app. And yes, I do use note-taking apps every day, especially with my show notes to jot thoughts down. I use that for LWW all the time. I do that with note-taking apps. And you can also now pin notes to keep your most important thoughts and to-dos within reach. You can change the font size and width of text. That was an issue for me because the original version of the program, 1.0, I could barely read the text, especially on my 4K monitor. And there is a new setting window that lets you choose from light, dark, or sepia themes. If you want that old school look, you go sepia. It's cool. It kind of looks like CDE. Ven would like that. And you can now change the database path to sync your notes via cloud provider. So a lot of really great enhancements to this refresh of the Notes app.
This is, I've always followed this because I remember when this guy first posted about when he was first working on the project way back when.
Yeah.
About why he did it. Because it's like, all the note-taking apps that are available right now, especially on Linux, are just this Electron-wrapped juggernaut.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to download something that's like 800 megs. It's a note-taking app. That's silly. This is ridiculous, and I'm going to do something about it. He's my kind of guy. Instead of just complaining to the internet, I was like, let's see if we can fix it. And that was kind of the origin story about this. And he decided to make it, tracker free, open source, like win. Now you can get this. It's available on everything. Snap, AppImage, Deb, RPM, whatever Arch uses this week. It is there, and it's small. How refreshing is it to see an app image for a note-taking app that's 30 megabytes? I'm like, it's about what I would expect a note-taking app in 2022 to be. Not a couple hundred megs. It doesn't, we don't need to bring the kitchen sink into this. And I installed the app image. When I installed it, I ran the app image on Debian testing, popped right up. It hung around longer than I wanted it to because my fault. I didn't pay attention. I just opened. I don't typically use note-taking apps. I use, it didn't feel like it was collecting enough private data from me, Jill, so I ran back to Google Docs like I normally use.
Okay.
But I did want to try it out to see if it launched, and I closed it, or I thought I closed it. It was also smart. Just the app image stayed in my system tray. I'm like, what is it? Oh, there you are.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. And another huge thing for me is that it has Markdown support, so I can format my text while I'm typing. And I love that. And you can import and export your files to, other computers, other systems, or sync them to the cloud. And this is an awesome project. And you can also support the development of this project on Patreon and GitHub sponsors.
Right.
So really cool.
And it has a dark mode.
Yes.
Which is the only correct mode. I found this week. I had kind of interesting time doing it. I was like, because one wine application that I find myself using more than I'd like to, but it makes sense for certain tasks is Winbox, which is the graphical front end for MikroTik routing, switches and routers, anything running Router OS, and it just melts your face off. It is, it is Discord level light theme. Just Like, how do I change a theme in wine? Is it possible? And it turns out you can create like a little style sheet and force it to load in wine config. So my Winbox now has goth mode enabled. It's all dark and moody. I'm like, that's awesome.
That's cool.
I'm very happy about it. Very, very. But notes, go check it out. This is going to be in our show notes after the fact. But speaking of Patreon, if you like what we do and you want to support us, that's kind of brilliant. Head over to patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. Pick a membership level. Each one comes with a special, unique reward. But, it's stacking. The higher you go, the more you get up to and including. We have an corporate overlord level, which fortunately no one's taken us up on. Smart people out there. But we do appreciate your support. You get your name in the credits. You get a custom RSS feed with all the early stuff that we do. We do a couple of bonus things. We've got a pre super shows, and on Saturday, a little behind the scenes. If you're curious about what goes on there, that's available in audio and video format. We got a spoiler cast we're doing right now for House of the Dragon and Rings of Power. Like 30 minutes episode recap each and every week. That's a new thing. And as I mentioned earlier, I like to put things out early to give people, just a sniff test to be like, what do you guys think of this? Like, should I make any changes, or did you see any like glaring errors? And it's real good back and forth feedback. Speaking of back and forth feedback, get access to our Discord. If you're a Twitch subscriber or a patron, hop in. But don't worry, we have IRC, and IRC is linked between Twitch, Discord, and there's a third one. What is it? IRC, Discord, and Twitch. That's it. That's right.
IRC. Right. It's the triumvirate.
It's the trine, man. It's the trine. My brain was trying to have a senior moment. But that is good. When we're live, everybody can chat together. But we do have a super secret private Discord. But it's fun. I would tell you what they're arguing. Last time I checked, it was Golden Girls. Who knows? Who knows? We do appreciate your support. We got some people we need to thank. I need to throw down because Arthurian gifted Marionette Souls.
Oh.
To Pedro. And
okay.
I think last week dared mention that I didn't have a copy of Serious Sam 4, and that showed up.
Yes.
I
awesome.
appreciate the just attack vector of that. Like,
Yeah.
there, now you have one.
Yes.
Do want to thank a couple of new patrons. Mark, who joined last week during this show, Linux
during
Teamcast Weekly.
Saturday. Yeah.
And for the first time ever, we were talking about this in the pre-show, because we do Trackmania. That's another thing that you can come hang out. Community night, twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays.
So much fun.
It's adult time, you know. Really, you can be any age, but most of us are like 30 and older, just chilling out playing some video games, and we're playing Trackmania because we got a private server set up just for us. You know, we don't have to play with the randos, and we have a really fun group. People learning how to play. We're not great. We got stuff to do. You know, we got lives to live. We're not teenagers. We're not 8. We can't dedicate 15 hours a day to these games. So we're all kind of on the same level, and it's kind of fun. But for the first time ever, because when we launch the server, it shows up. And in the game, I have a little thing. It's like a description. Like, hey, this is for patrons and Twitch subscribers. If you'd like to join. I'm not trying to sell you on it at all, because I only have 12 spots. This is just letting you know. Because when you try to get in, there's a password. Over the 38 weeks that we've been doing this, numerous times people will show up in Twitch chat. How do I get in server? Password, please. I'm like, no. I'm like, if you want to drop one of your Bezos box subs on us, you can hop in. That's great. Love to have you. And they always disappear until last night. Until last night when Replay Gaming PT did the, hey man, how do I get in the room? And of course, me being me, I'm like, oh, this again. Like, read the server description, man. Don't worry about it. It's a Twitch sub pitch. Like 5 minutes later, it's like, all right, done. I'm playing now.
Yeah,
and then
he's
Nubbin,
playing.
It was fun. Nubbin was like, new person. What?
Yay!
Just calm down, man. Calm down. Yeah, the password's on. So we all had a good time with that. And also, Oil of Hope. I want to thank you for increasing your patron pledge.
We love Oil of Hope. Thank you for increasing your pledge. She's been around for a long time.
Covers it. If you want to help us out in other ways, share the show, all that fun stuff, head over to linuxgamecast.com. We got Amazon wish list. Jill's got a bunch of fuzzy, sparkly things. Do you have anything that needs batteries?
I've got rainbow penguins and a plastic display for my keyboards. I have so many, I'd like to put them on display. So, like the one I showed earlier today.
Right. You'll never guess what I'm up to, but you'll end up on this wall. There's your fair warning. You have no idea what I'm planning on building. It is a secret project. You could not possibly piece it together with what's on our studio wish list. Don't even try. It is.
There's that little epic processor in there.
Well, I mean, yeah. That was the joke.
Yeah, I know. I'm just having fun with you, Vin.
We also have store.linuxgamecast.com where you can cover yourselves in Linux Gamecast merch all over your face, chest, and neck. We got stickers. We got penguins. We even got hoodies. There's some hoodie designs that I probably need to work on, but
yeah,
we're talking about
I got the one chair
time.
Shirt on.
I'm trying to get everything churned out. Jill, have you ever played around with IMPI devices?
No, I have not. I know about it. Actually, I have at my work. I had to a long time ago, but I don't have to use it on a daily basis like some people do in the workplace.
When I first think about that, my immediate thought is dragging a crash cart through a data center back in the day with probably the oldest about to break CRT dangling on the top of it with a VGA connector, scrounging up a keyboard, trying to find where I need to be. I don't have good memories of this. I don't. But I like the idea of homebrew IPMI. It's management for your PC. You might want to buy a card and you're like, hey, I want to be able to connect to my PC and servers and, Threadripper, the Epic PCs, stuff like that. You might have seen it. You're like, why does this still have a VGA port on it? Remote management. You can do a bunch of cool things. And we found something that kind of has basic functionality that you can add to your existing PC. And this is Jeff Geerling. He did a little bit, he did a whole video on this. This is the Blink VM PCIe, a full computer PCI Express card, IPKVM that you can just plug into basically everything, and it gets the job done. It has all the basic functionality. We're talking power control, on-screen keyboard, remote screenshots, powered over Ethernet. It doesn't have internal sensor monitoring for the host PC, but it is low profile, only uses about 6 watts, $114 without a Raspberry Pi. It's IPMI for the desktop. I thought this was kind of neat because, use case. You're out, you need to cut your PC on, you need to get to something. I know this is kind of a weird use case, but you can do that. You can dial into this thing, power on your main PC that it's plugged into, VNC into it, get everything, and it allows you to remote mount drives and stuff like that, or you can just check the health of it. Maybe you need to restart it. But it doesn't come with a compute module, which I thought was kind of I mean, it does if you want to pay the iron price for it, Joe.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah. So the last time I've done a hardware-based IP KVM switching is in the 90s. So I haven't played with a modern. And then I used to use VNC all the time. But this is actually really cool because this device, the Blick VM PCIe, actually pinwheels the front panel power connectors from your computer so you can power the computer on like you normally do, or power it on via Ethernet via Pi KVM. And that was a really sweet option. I love hardware and technology that uses that pinwheels signals from one to another. It's just, and that was really smart. And this is a great way to do this with a PCI card instead of using your traditional IP KVM externally. And, at it's only $100 without a Pi Compute Module 4, or $200 with a Pi Compute Module 4 from AliExpress. And honestly, this is still cheaper than other external IP KVM options. And it even comes with a VGA to HDMI adapter, an HDMI sync for locking in an HDMI resolution, and an optional low-profile bracket card for those servers that don't have a lot of space.
My big takeaway from all of that is I'm like, you know what? I want some HDMI sync adapters now.
Okay. Yeah.
I
do have one.
If you've had to deal with HDMI year over year and stuff like that, you wouldn't mind the occasional obey me mode adapter. I need you to do this signal and only this signal, which auto adapt sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. The only two holdups I have with this, the price is right. I know $114 without the compute module. It's on AliExpress, which is a huge negative for me, which means, you better hope it works. That's what that code is for. Because if it doesn't, it will cost you more to ship it back than you paid for it. And they have a compute module that you can get from them, but it's also marked up. So even Jeff recommends, going to the little Pi Watch website and trying to wait and hunt one down. But this would make a fun project. And this is one of those things. This is one of those things that you never think about and you'd never use until you need it. And now it's going to be 11 times worse because you're going to think, oh, and it exists too. I knew about one the whole time. Man, this could have saved me X, Y, Z.
Well, just having one internally, that's not like a million dongles in the server room of KVMs. This is just such a nice option and efficient.
Well, typically, like any modern board, like I am getting ready to build an Epic PC. And it's IMPI is built into the motherboard,
True,
all the way back to, Pentium 2 level, stuff like that. But it is there. And this is something you can add to a consumer motherboard, which is neat, which is nice. It's just there. You just plug it in. Yeah. Maybe you can pair that with, I think he even mentions Microtech has released a router on a card that that thing's like $200 too. I have zero use for that thing, but I kind of want it. I'm I don't know what I do with it, just to play with it. But yeah, go check it out. Jill, we are 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
10 seconds under 40 minutes. So we got to bounce out of here. We got to run. We got to go. I'm going to bring up some music. Let's do the credits real quick.
Yay. Got to thank all our wonderful patrons, including our new patrons. We got Mark and Replay Gaming PT. And we have our advisors, which
Megas and
Arthur is part of.
bringing it. We are executive producers,
Yeah.
Barbara and Scott M, Atomic Ass, Mike G, Empty Drummer, and who I didn't get to.
Yeah.
Abstraction,
and
however.
Abstraction for Chicago level. And our sea monsters, System T, Darkwing, Nubbin, Veritanuda, Trudgills. Our death notes. Lots of people, yay! M Foxdog, Gamatron, Dodger.
We got everybody on there. Episode 344, wrapping it up. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. All right.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. Love you all.
Oh, geez, man. Yeah, Intel's AMI, the Y of remote management. Yeah. It's sort of like IBM. Yeah, it is. You know what? Things are so automated now. Like, there's nobody. Like, part of my life was spent trying to find the crash cart in a data center so I could collect things to go on a journey to a box. But
Yeah.
like, that's not really so much of a thing, fortunately, anymore.
Yeah, definitely, Justin. I'm looking into that. Definitely.
Just get the faceplate.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do, Jill. Get the faceplate and get some gaffer's tape and just tape it to the front of your PC and take a picture and post it.
Oh, you sent yours back today? Okay. Yeah, we have one over at Destination Linux, and it's probably going to make the rounds.
Yeah, that's always an interesting offer. And like, hey, would you like to review this PC? Like, that's going to take like 7 or 8 months to review the PC. Like, what? We're going to need it back in a week. And I'm like, I can't review something in a week. I don't know how well it's going to perform in production in a week. The Thelio case. Well, fortunately, Art Theory,
Yes.
I don't think the art of case modification is completely dead yet. There's still some. I've had some good feels because I've seen some kids cutting up some AIX towers, and I've seen some kids cutting up some Sun boxes and some Indigo boxes and putting in your standard EATX or ATX motherboards in them.
Yeah.
So that's not a completely dead art yet.
I would need to get a Dremel, 3D printer, and a chainsaw. do 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 do.
$550? Yep, pick it up.
Power Edge. Ah, yeah.
Unless I'm buying like a pre-built miniature PC, I will never buy another case as long as I can get my hands on a Corsair 750D. There's only one thing I don't like about the 750D, and that's that the front drive cages are not removable, which they are removable. Nothing's not removable. I've just haven't, taken the loving Dremel to it yet. Yeah, well, I mean, see, that's another problem. Like, collectors have kind of jacked that market up. In the early 2000s and mid 2000s, you could get an SGI, you get an Indie box, you get an AIX box, you could get a Deck Alpha box, which you really want a Deck Alpha box. They weren't anything special. I got one in the closet. Sun boxes, just pick them up because nobody wanted it. They were cheap. Just buy it and gut it and do with that. Now you got to fight tooth and nail with people who want to do nothing with it, but they don't want to do anything to it. Like, come on, guys.
Oh yeah, Gamatron. Well, if the SGIs are collector items now. I've got a couple. I've got an Octane in my collection and a few other SGI machines, and they're so collectible I wouldn't touch them. But I understand the fun in doing that, because I have done that with some other old computers.
Moral of the story, let's go cut up some indies.
Sometimes, though, like on eBay, you can find the cases, just the cases without any of the parts in them, cheap. I've done that before and had fun modding the computers.
Let's see. The indie was always a little cheap when I would do for desktops. They're about 300. Alright. That's more than I'd want to pay effectively for a case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
let me see.
And, you know, your SGI indies are the cheapest of cheapest. Those are like, you could pay $20 for these things in 2005, but...
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I always thought it would be fun to take. I've gotten rid of all my racks and stuff like that, but take something like a Sun Starfire or one of the IBM Z series like towers and put like a Raspberry Pi Pico in it. Thought that'd be entertaining. I want Nooks. Nooks are just too expensive for what they are for my needs. I can't justify, you know, for one that's like really nice, but like $700-800 for a Nook. Because if I buy a Nook, I need 3 of them. That's just
oh yeah, you do. Yeah.
Some people, like, hey, do you know what? If I could justify, like, if I was in like a crazy small apartment, or I had like super limited desk space, you can justify stuff like that, like real quick. If you're ever in that situation, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see if Valve expands on the Steam Deck architecture and we get our Steam bricks, our Steam PCs, which I will gladly buy and immediately format and put Debian on it and turn it into a Nook.
Yeah, they've been talking about supporting streamers, so I think that's gonna happen.
Supporting streamers? What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's a couple articles floating around about how Valve wants to support streamers with SteamOS.
In what capacity?
Just for, you know, like yourself, for YouTubers and Twitch streamers to be able to do that. With SteamOS. You can do it now, but easily, you know, set it up easily for someone.
Yeah, Valve's never going to have any luck with that until they set it up with a standard URL, because currently the only way to stream to Steam is through Steam itself. Like, you can't tie in OBS into Steam and stream from it unless you have a
issue.
The mechanism to be able to do that exists, but you can only do it if you have a developer account.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a random question. Wasn't there a yellow brick Linux here? What? All right, try again on that. Let's see if we can have a post revision.
There was Yellow Dog Linux years ago for Mac. But this must be a piece of hardware. You're talking about Gamatron?
Okay, that's good. That's good. You know, I'm still managing to use Thunderbird. Kind of been using Thunderbird nightly. It's getting there.
Oh, good. Good.
It's getting there. It's like you lose things though. For a couple of days, I lost my ability to display images in emails because I have that off by default. And normally there's a button that has preferences, like right above in each email, and you click on that and you go show images. That button disappeared for a few days.
Oh, Gamatron, are you talking about like the server side yellow bricks that you can for video streaming, conversion, and all that. There's a fiber ones. I know my brother was using those at his work. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, that's not enough.
Yeah.
The problem with that is there's not enough data points to Google. And I know I have a sneaking suspicion you're in front of a computer too right now, Gamatron. So maybe take a crack at that. See if we can find some images.
So this is the one. This is the one that I found and I remember these ones because my brother had used them.
What are they?
Little mini computers, but like enhanced for specific purposes. Like there's fiber splitters, rack controllers, appliances. Yeah. That's what I think of. The yellow brick.
Yellow Dog Linux. Is that still maintained? There's a thing to go look up. Because you got to imagine at some point it's just done, right?
Yeah.
You don't bother.
Last time I checked, it wasn't. So it's been a while ago, though.
Like if I had to run,
I use Debian on all my Macs, so I haven't used Yellow Dog in so many years. But yeah, I did check not too long ago, and I think it's pretty much done.
I think I was playing around with like
unless someone forked it.
Old PPC build or like a 386 architecture or something like that. I'd probably use like BSD rather than Linux. Like if I was trying to, if I was forced to use that hardware and I had to do something productive with it, I'd probably use BSD. But if I wanted to play around with it, you just put whatever you want on it. Oh man, yeah. The only like largest, I can't think of anything brick sized. I know Google had like their search appliance, like 2U rack thing you could buy for a while. Mm-hmm. Because I knew a guy had a couple of. He was trying to dump them. Like, I don't need one, but I thought it'd be fun just to have like a big yellow server type thing that had Google on the top of it. But I'm glad I didn't get it because that would have been, I don't know, probably worth something, doesn't it? But who knows? The immediate, an ASRock 4x4? What's that? That sounds like it's going to be a cube made by ASRock, if I was guessing. What's the survey say on that? It's a mini PC. The only mini I don't have. Well, I mean, I have the Raspberry Pi 4, but in a case, if that counts. It's headless. So, 4800U.
Which one is that? Is that the little cube one?
It's like a little Nook.
Okay, yeah.
An AMD
Yeah,
Nook.
I've seen their ASRocks. I've got one of the mini forms one. Oh, I got a couple different brands of little mini computers.
Let's see.
They come in handy.
I think. Let me see. What do they have? Yeah, there we go. Like, if you want to go for like small form factor with like the embedded CPUs, you should have some fun with it and get an Epic CPU.
There you go.
On a mini ITX motherboard. They
Oh,
exist.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's an Epic 3251 SoC.
Wow. Huh. Of course, it's a super micro motherboard.
Of course. Yeah, I like the idea of small computers, but I just don't have a use for one right now. Okay, yeah, I don't have enough of a use to justify the prices of them right now is where I'm getting at.
Yeah, most of mine, they're collector's item. I have some of the Zotac ones. I have an early one and I have a newer one. I love little mini computers.
I consider these Dell 3010s mini PCs.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, like, they're that big, like, that wide.
The small form factors.
Yeah. You got to be careful when you're ordering these things because they make like the ones that look frighteningly similar to this, but they're the little tiny ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want. I'm not a fan of miniature thermal death boxes.
Yeah.
I've been over this a couple of times. Just basic engineering. I have a problem with them, but I'm not judgy. I'm like, if that's how you want to roll, it's your money.
That's a good use, Beastwick. Awesome. Yeah.
Then we got. Yeah, I am still curious about the plasma big screen thing. I don't know. I wish they'd do a better job on that page.
Yeah. I think that's all that needed to be. They should just say you can install this on one of these devices and hook it to the TV.
Or have a video. Yeah, it's not very like coherent.
Or have a video.
What exactly?
Which is odd because their Plasma Mobile, the Plasma Mobile homepage looks very similar, but they do have videos on YouTube for it.
I gotta go find out what's in the box.
Yeah, you do.
Are you gonna share with the class, Joe?
No, I'm thinking when we were talking about your wish list. Epic, I gave it away.
Well, you did demonstrate your ability to read the webpage.
Yeah, I know, but I was just... I wanted to come up with something funny, and I didn't. I go, Van, that is epic. I should have said, Van, that is epic. That's what I was looking for.
Paid promotion announcement, the likes, rolling out post-embargo today. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't think anybody's getting paid to review them.
What's in the box? Yeah, Gametron. That's a good... good gif.
Oh, man. That still holds up. I went back and rewatched Hellsing Abridged earlier this year. This was really good. Yeah. I'm glad they got new PCs out. That's But
Sweet.
I mean,
They keep iterating on it and making it better because of customer support and
that's kind of
community feedback.
You know, the whole point of like sending out like review units or stuff like that. I mean, it's part of marketing. It's advertising.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey. It's how the game's played, baby.
Yeah, very good, Justin. Very good. I saw your pictures.
It's always it's kind of been my thing though. I'm like, hey, would you like the review? And like, you can send me something, but that's the beginning and end of the relationship. Because then they do want like feedback or like, hey, we need to. And I'm not talking about System 76 here. I'm talking about people I've dealt with over the past 10 years.
Yeah.
They always get their points and like, oh, we'd like to, because I've been asked by other PC manufacturers with gaming PCs, like, hey, would you want to do this? I'm like, what's involved? Because I always send back the same email. I'm like, here's the address. You can send something. I probably won't send it back to you. I might not. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I just don't want to go through the hassle of sending something back. So don't send me something that you want back. I'm like, well, we'd have a discussion and we'll have final say over whatever's produced and written. I'm like, go away. Get out of here. Because I don't like dealing with marketing people, man. They make my skin crawl. It's like when you're trying to...
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like if you're at a conference and somebody, there's the marketing person at the booth.
Yeah.
And you're trying to find the engineer.
Yes, exactly. That's what I love about scale. You get the engineer, not the
Like,
marketing
I
person.
don't want to talk to the PR person.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you go
And
to
that's
Open
not a
Source
knock on
Summit,
PR
you get
people,
the...
because I've definitely dealt with
Oh, yeah.
very
there's some wonderful
well-versed,
ones.
intelligent PR people. They are the exception, however, not the rule. All right. Well, Jill, what do you got going on the rest of the day?
Oh, boy. I have lots of work to do. I am doing 2 podcasts tomorrow, so I have to go prepare.
I gotta work a better mounting mechanism.
You got to go open your package.
I'll get to that. I will, to your point, I will actually open it and see, like, is that what I ordered? You know? But yeah, it'll probably be tomorrow or the day after before I get a chance to play around with it. But,
Yeah, I've occasionally gotten the wrong thing. It happens.
It does happen.
Order so much stuff.
What
so
I've
much stuff
never have
online.
happened, I've never gotten the wrong thing. You see it every now and then, like on Reddit. How many times you'll see like, oh, I ordered one 10 terabyte hard drive and I got 15. I'm never that person. I've never had that kind of luck. Because if I did, I surely wouldn't tell anyone. Like,
Oh, I just had Amazon gave me something free because the box was heavily damaged, but fortunately the item in it was just fine. But obviously the person who was shipping it to me noticed it, and so I got a refund on the item, and it's fine. So I'm not going to complain because we buy tons of stuff from Amazon.
oh yeah.
So
See, I want to I ordered.
that's nice that they do that. Their customer service is usually pretty good.
That's why Amazon's been able to shut everybody down. Like, I order from Amazon not because they're cheapest anymore. It's just because I know I don't have to deal with anything if I get the wrong thing or if there's ever a problem.
I know. They immediately fund you, especially
I am
if
part
you're...
of the problem. I understand that,
Yeah.
But, I've never had the thing like, recent thing I just ordered, here's another thing. Because I usually keep track of what I order to a thing. I'm like, all right, yeah, I put in an order, I got a thing, and I got a notification. It's like, Amazon's like, your package with 3 items is going to arrive. I remembered what 2 of them were. I'm like, ooh, one of them's a mystery item. And, which I knew I'd ordered. I just couldn't remember what it was. And what it was like some ginormous 30 milliliter syringes. Arts and crafts stuff. Like the big holes. They wouldn't be very good for shooting up drugs unless you were trying to, give drugs to a horse or something.
Yeah.
And it's never anything terribly interesting. What I'd like is to order something like that and get, 11 60-inch flat screen TVs. Like, there we go. I don't know if I'd call Amazon back up and be like, I got the wrong thing. I'm like, no, we're good. That works. I'll take the L on this one. Because I don't know if it's like a state law, but I think through the federal post, I don't know legally if a company ships you something to your address, you're not on the hook to give it back to them. Morally is a different story.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because a lot of services require that you ship it back to the seller. That's just the way they do it.
Like if you want a refund or something like that. But what I'm saying, if they misship something to your house.
Oh, they misship. Yeah.
You're like, oh, well, I don't think you... Don't take legal advice from old Ben, but I'm pretty sure legally you're like, not my problem. I didn't solicit this and you shipped it to me. It's mine now.
Yeah.
There's no takesies, backsies. Why would you be messing around with urethane, Steve?
Oh, yeah.
At your age...
He's used every chemical on the planet probably at his work.
I can tell. I've talked to him before.
Yeah.
Man. Just giving you a hard time, Steve.
Hypergolics.
Yeah. That's going to wind it down If you are around, I'm going to be back tomorrow. Me and Jordan are going to be back for Brad.
I keep saying want to say left for Brad or back for Brad, but it's back for Brad, not left for Brad. No.
We're going to be doing Back for Brad at 7:30 p.m. There is an event scheduled in our Discord. If you're available, you need to reply me. We had Beastwick showed up last week.
Yeah, Beastwick was on last Thursday.
He reminded everybody why you shouldn't play first-person shooters with a controller. And Rohit was also good enough to hang out.
I am Bodhi. How are you doing? Yeah, when will Brad learn? Yeah.
So Jordan and I are going to be doing that 7:30 tomorrow night at Reply Me. I think Michael and Foxdog is going to be joining us. So we'll have one spot open. You need that Reply Me before we go live. So by 7 p.m. my time, hit me up in Discord if you want to participate. Because I'm not being a prima donna. I legitimately have to cut on another PC to bring Discord in. So you can't, we can't take last minute type things. And you don't need a video camera. You just need a microphone. You don't even need a microphone. You just need headsets so we can talk to you. So you're not running around doing your own thing. But we're stuck. We're stuck.
Yeah.
We died a lot. That's all we did last week. We kept on dying at a mansion. So we got to figure that out.
Oh, boy.
Friday, points match.
Yay!
Again at
Trackmania.
7:30 p.m. All of us are getting together for Trackmania. We're going to put some points on the board. I'm going to write things down on a piece of paper. And at the end, people are going to get some free games if they're really good. And by really good, I don't mean the fastest. No, not at all. It has nothing to do with being the fastest. It's just who's the most dedicated? Who can get around the maps the most? That's what it is. Also, we have a Joker thing. So if you come in 5th or 6th place, depending on whatever I set it at that week.
Yeah. Get that 350.
You get the 350. So there you go, everybody. Say good night. It's not night. Pretend it's night, Jill. Say good night. We're going to get out of here.
Aw. Good night, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are. There we go. Covered it all.
I don't know, Jill. What if I'm on the International Space Station?
Yeah. Well, they still use the time they're used to, their local time, but I don't know. Bastard.